Mom, you don't know the game called Tarantula like I do.
Like Coach does, you mean? Sam, he's not here to assist with the game called Tarantula rule set.
Don't doubt me. I've spent days playing the game called Tarantula.
And Coach has always been over your shoulder. On the roads I've walked, there are no more shoulder coaches.
You've got to let me do this. We can't lose you again.
My little ticker, as long as you're safe, I am never loosed.
Next time on Ever's After, Muse Carinary saves the day with her quick wits and even quicker quips. Everyone loves my show. You are up for a whiz-bang, the game called Tarantula Game. I can't hardly wait. Who will win? Whoever does, I, Muse Carinary, will be there on the scene to give you the first-hand accounts of the thrill of victory and the hospice of defeat. Only on Ever's After, Carinary on.
There's so much blood. Please, Mr. Chimera, not my mama. Have a heart.
Okay.
Mom!
2 points, Chimera.
Tell me, Mrs. Evers, is this your first time playing the game called Tarantula?
Yes, but not my last.
What are you trying to say?
It won't be my last.
So you think this will be my last?
Well, it won't be my
Mine
last.
either.
It's time for the game called Tarantula to the Death.
Tef, I am well towards dead time, and my little ticker is taking over in the game called Tarantula.
What can I do to help Sam?
You must drink it. All of my blood. From my wound.
Huh? Slow down. I'm just a simple mailman.
You need to drink my blood. To get my powers. To help.
Whoa, that's a lot to take in.
Quick, Tef, drink up all my blood before the power gets out.
Cower as I score all of the points. You will soon follow your mother's fate.
Over my dead body.
Yes, over it. Triumphantly. Standing.
Faster, Tef. All of the blood. Don't miss some.
Tef, I can't believe you did that.
You mean saved you? You're welcome, by the way.
No, I mean use all those Hexen blood powers selfishly. It's too dangerous, like, I don't know, like a virus or a big bomb.
Nice lecture, Miss Overnight Doctorate of Sorcery. I guess it's too bad your dissertation wasn't on saving moms.
Emma's after Carinarion. Next stop, a thrusting emotion to get your love in motion. Radiation ships now on WSPN. The Spoon.
Numenorians and Nephilim, necromorphs and Nastics, settlers and survivors, to all you redheads out there in Radiation Nation. Views and opinions expressed on Radiation Ship may not necessarily reflect that of WSPN or its affiliates. We are live from our UES compound in an undisclosed location deep in the lines of the Sadlands. Hearts pure, back strong, and eyes shielded from the glare of the bone waste. I'm Radd Flink, and with me, the Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Radiation Ship.
You know, I dated a necromorph once.
And did you?
I did.
How was that?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Sure. We all got those, things we'd rather not talk about. Apologize if I seem a little, not entirely together, Professor. I haven't slept since last broadcast.
No.
Of course, I mentioned the dream journal I was keeping. Mm-hmm. It's still blank, which is highly suspicious.
That's odd, yeah.
Highly suspicious. You've got the basic idea.
Okay.
You've got the basic idea.
Right, just some sort of made-up creature that's messing with your dreams.
Well, sure. Yeah, let's go with that for now.
Okay.
Sure. But yeah. So I'm a little a little sleep deprived at the moment, but, I'll muscle through and power through if I can.
You can take a nap if you'd like.
No, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yep.
I don't, it wouldn't hurt us to do an episode where it's just straight advice and without the color commentary.
We don't really have a subject for the show today. I didn't have time to really make one.
No.
So, I was too busy with that dream journal. Hobbies, I guess. Have we talked about that before? Well, let's just talk about, do you have any hobbies? You do hobbies?
I do spend a lot of time delving into the hearts and minds and souls and dark inner workings of imaginary people, so I can imagine what might help them. And then I imagine them, taking my advice and making themselves better in an imaginary way. So even when you're not working, you're still working. You do what you love, and they will always love you doing what you do.
Yeah. Now, those imaginary characters, are we talking about, are you, taking them from books, or are you just making them up whole cloth? How does that work exactly?
I usually start with a drawing. I like to sketch. I work a little bit in charcoal, a little bit in graphite, just whatever materials are around me. And I start with a basic sketch, usually a stick figure. And then I just, I listen to what that stick figure has to say.
Now, have you ever tried watercolors?
Yeah, but that kind of goes back to the necromorph relationship that, again, I'd just rather you not bring up.
I wasn't trying to bring it up. I was just going to ask for some advice. My experience is that water doesn't really color anything.
No, it stains a lot, but it doesn't really bring color.
Last episode, I'm remembering, or maybe the one before, again, not a lot of sleep here lately. I mentioned that people should go to our internet. And I'm happy to say, Professor, I don't know if you've looked, Caden has printed out some handouts for us here. We've really got an outpouring of love, and I'd just like to recognize some of these people who took the time, to go onto the iTunes.
iTunes. It's the attunes.
The attunes.
It's a forum for people who have attuned themselves to our wisdom.
That makes sense.
It's the attunes.
That makes sense. But they've gone onto our internet, and they've said some just very nice things about us. And just let me take a minute to sort of acknowledge some of these reviews and go through them.
Caden, can I get a copy of that?
A little bit. Yeah, here. Let me just read a couple of you.
No, the paper, not the deer head. Yeah, okay.
Great, fantastic.
Thanks, buddy.
By Tim Rhodes. Wow, this had me at Anti-Cricket Mine. What a funny series with an intriguing and unique premise. It's perfectly dark and chilly, and I especially love the radio talk show feel with various ads interspersed throughout the episodes. I look forward to hearing more episodes. Wow, thank you, Tim. We appreciate it.
And here's a good one, Radd. Here's one that I really appreciate. This guy gets us. This is in Eric Hunley. He says, from a codependent cricket. Do you remember that cricket, Radd?
I do. Yeah.
I had almost forgotten. It's been so long since we've had to deal with it.
Since we even spoke about him.
Yeah. And longer still since we've had to deal with such.
I didn't have to think about it at all.
Degenerate vermin. Anyhow, from a codependent cricket to dispensing advice on calling children, this post-apocalyptic romp follows a smooth-sounding shrink, that's me, and his sidekick on their call-in show. Very high production values and very funny. Again, with the humor. I appreciate that. He understands the humor in what we're doing. He's paying attention to details like the vermin that we dispatch and the children that we gleefully call. He understands our role. I am the smooth-sounding shrink, and you are the sidekick. It's a beautiful dynamic, and I'm glad that he understands us.
Now, who was that you said? Eric Hunley?
Eric Hunley.
Me. Sidekick.
Psychic.
Well,
to be fair...
Not to get off subject here, but I do announce the show. I'm the...
You do, and you do a great job.
I do lead into the show, so I don't know if sidekick is...
And you're killing it, buddy. You
exactly
really are.
The best.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, he doesn't understand our orientation here. You're clearly not a sidekick. You're not by my side. You're right in front of me. So you're more of a sort of a frontal assistant.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that then, I guess.
Yeah.
As long as we're, on the air here. So what constitutes a sidekick exactly? Do they, do an entire show by themselves without the host there or does the show necessitate the main host to be present? I would say the latter. What are your thoughts, Professor?
I would think a sidekick is somebody who you, as an expert with a program, benevolently welcome into your home and broadcast studio. You give him small but inconsequential tasks like introducing the show. Maybe sometimes you throw him a bone, let him talk to a caller. But he's just there. He's there for companionship and to learn, you know?
Sure, yeah. Or, maybe in certain instances, you might have a charismatic, a real, go-getter out there to, bring the people in and open up their minds and make them listen. And then, you might bring somebody in, a sidekick, to just sort of add some information, some informative bits to the entertainment. Because when you think about it, when people are listening to the radio, when they're out there living their doldrum everyday lives, what they want isn't boring, bland information. They're not looking for lists of facts and bullet points and outlines. What they want is somebody who can wake them up.
Exactly.
Who can wake them up and bring them up out of that boring everyday life and say, hey, I've got something to live for. I've got something to be.
Exactly, yeah. And then sometimes that person, thinks that the show will benefit from a begoggled sidekick who's versatile, who is charming in his own sort of dim-witted way, and is not easily pigeonholed in the role of a sidekick. Sometimes you need a frontal assistant, a person in front of you who's assisting you, and not just anchored down to the chair across from you. He's free to move about the studio, and when he does so, he transforms from a frontal assistant into a sort of peripheral manservant. It's a lot of flexibility, and you're welcome.
So, I'm sure all sorts of people have all sorts of opinions about our show, and some of them have shared them online, and some of them have shared them here today. Mm-hmm. Some of the ones on the line, may be extremely correct. Some of the ones shared here may be extremely wrong. Regardless, let's get an opinion from somebody we know and trust, because what my favorite kind of sidekick is?
What's that, Radd?
A friend.
A friend. Friends are important.
Let's see if we can get a hold of somebody here. Caden, can you here's a list of names, just so you can get a hold of.
Is this, I guess...
It's my list of names.
Is this the...
those are my friends.
Is this the theme of our show today, I suppose, then?
The theme today is hobbies.
Hobbies. Okay. And friends are your hobby?
The interesting thing about friends is you often make them because of shared hobbies. And I think that's really the tie-in here. Yeah. Shared hobbies, which is why, sometimes when your work becomes your life, you may not have as many friends. You may not have as many people who care for you or care about you. And I think that's something that we should sort of highlight to the people out there, our listeners, just to sort of let them know, don't get too tied up in your occupation. Don't tear your identity from that, because you can be so much more than that if you really, really look deep down inside.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Give me your money. Your money. Money. On WSPN. The Spoon.
Jars and cans are lame, and now jam will never be the same. Jam in your backpack. Jam in your pocket. Jam it in your mouth with jammies. Jammies is jam in a bag. Whoa, a bag. Cool. Wow, no shit. Holy fuck, that's the most amazing. No fuss. No muss, no spills, no pills. It's not any old jelly, you nutter. Jammies isn't suitable for mental patients or their next of kin. Don't even stop. It even gets even better, even. Each pouch includes a sophisticated biometric encoded witch curse to make sure no one else can get their sticky fingers in your wiggly little jammies. My jammies, my rules. Don't worry, even your silly little jelly brain about pickpockets or juju-proof gutter kids getting their hands on your jam. Jam! Jammies! Use the included chain to hook jammies to any common piercing, or buy our proprietary sash pack and attach up to 12 jammies. Now that's a fashion statement that's sweet to wear and sweet to eat. Jammies! When you get into a serious jam! Jammies!
So nice, you'll need it twice. WSPN. The Spoon.
All right. Well, Caden tells me we're coming back from a break. The professor and I were just sitting here, just friendly, just guessing, who our friends are.
Yeah.
Just when we both wrote up lists, I just thought, it'd be nice if we recognized them as well as these, gracious callers who have left such nice reviews. And just sort of, go over who we consider to be friends.
Absolutely.
And okay, number one on my list, this in no particular order. These aren't ranked in any way. It's just, I would consider the mailman. The mailman is definitely a good friend of mine.
Mailman is definitely a good friend of mine who I introduced you to and who you have some limited amount of interaction
but he's
with.
on my list,
fair.
so what's on your list?
He is on your list.
You mark that one off, and what's your next one?
That's, just looking around the room, Caden is a friend of mine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, a work friend, but a friend nonetheless.
He is a friend who works.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and mark that one off.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I would have to say Paul. We haven't heard from him lately.
Paul.
But, we did share some we had some good times together. I would count him among my friends.
A sponsor friend. Yeah, that's good. That's good. A friend who pays you to spend time with him, or is that the other way around?
Well, a friend who we have business interests in common. I wouldn't necessarily say anyone's paying anyone to spend time with anyone else. Also, Remy Germani, so mark both those off.
Okay, all right. Well, if we're opening it up to that type of friend classification, I would count all of our callers as my friend. Scripturally, you are my friends if you do what I say, and our callers do what I say, and so they're all my friends.
Okay, yeah, cool. Did you write their names down like we discussed?
There's a log.
There's a log. Wait, can I see it? Can I see the names?
Caden, can you wave the logbook at Radd? There you go. Thanks, buddy. Okay, no, don't set that on fire. It's on fire now.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the thing, though. He wrote those down. You didn't write those down. That was part of the rule. You had to write them down.
He wrote them down for me in his capacity as a work friend, and now it's on fire in his hand, so we can't really read the list of names, but they exist.
That's awful convenient that the list of names just went away, even though we discussed it had to be on the list for it to count.
I think we have different definitions of the word convenient, but that's okay. We still established that I have hundreds of friends that I've amassed from this show over the years.
Well, speaking of friends that I know the name of, I'd have to say that sandwich bot, was definitely friendly, and maybe more of acquaintance moving on to a friend and someone I'd like to know better. But
I'm sorry, which sandwich bot?
Oh, the one that called in was making the paninis and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, was her name Sandwich Bot?
Almost certainly.
The bunker's my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, metaphorically. Anyway, Caden's got somebody on the line. Let's go ahead and listen and speak with them. That we reached out. Something a little bit unusual here.
Okay. Welcome to Radiation Ships. Thank you for liking me more.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. Oh.
Yeah.
Man,
sure.
I'm at work. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. No, we appreciate you taking the call. We just wanted to reach out. We had such a good time talking to you. Before we came on air with WSPN. We're doing an episode now, just sort of checking back in with friends of the show.
Yeah,
friends of mine.
Yeah, friends of mine. Yeah,
and we're checking back in and just sort of seeing how things are now with you.
Oh wow, things right now. I mean, today was nuts at work, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the new thing we came up with. We call it the grilled cheese.
Okay.
Which is, we had several positions involved.
Yeah.
And there was some friction at one point. But we got that kind of ironed out, and then, we really just let all the gooey, melty goodness just kind of get all over us. So it was a pretty good day today.
So you sound like you've definitely, from what I remember last time, you were going to make us a sandwich. And it sounds like you've really found your place, and that I've really helped you sort of get to where you belong in this world. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I think that you definitely contributed your own perspective, and I really appreciate that. After talking to you about how I really wanted to become a sex drone, we talked a lot about a lot of things, but we didn't really get on that whole lot. So I had to do a lot of my own work, I had to really dig deep down into my soul, kind of on my own, without without any support at that time. But, you definitely helped me become a little more clear on the differences between a sandwich drone and a sex drone. And, I really appreciate that.
Well, that's good. And, we can't do everything for you. And we as much as we'd like to get out there and do it all for you, we don't. I don't have the energy or enough hands or enough elbow grease to get it all done. But I'm glad you got that. There's a lot of work you got to do yourself. And listeners, that's an important thing. That no matter what advice we give you, a lot of the work you've got to do, because we're not going to be out there doing it for you. That's not our job.
I would really say you have to do almost all of the work yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would say that fair enough, Radd. It definitely sounds like she has been listening to you. She hit all those main points. You gave a perspective. There was a lot of talking. She eventually just had to, grin and bear it and do it herself. So this is one of yours. You can chalk that up.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm maybe coming into a conversation that's been going on for a while. Is there a problem?
We've been on the air for a bit. Yeah. I mean, we're in the middle of the show here. We're reaching out to listeners, friends of the show, our friends. Maybe we're not daily personal. We had us. I feel like a connection was made, and I feel like we're reaching out and making sure.
Yeah, but it sounds like you bear all the hallmarks of a friend of mine who's familiar with my life. Like you said, there is a problem. There are many problems that we deal with on this show. I really enjoy how you put that. It sounds like you're coming in on a conversation, and that's true. There's a conversation that we've been having with our listeners, spanning dozens and dozens of episodes, wherein they give us their problems, we give them the solutions. I give them solutions. Radd provides a contrast, which sometimes is a welcome addition to clarity, and everyone's better. So I appreciate that affirmation there, friend.
Well, I don't remember getting all the way through my sentence enough to really get to the affirmation. But I've had a long day. I wasn't able to listen to your show like I usually do because I was in the middle of a triple stack, and it's going fine until we flip the whole thing over. So, but it sounds like you guys are struggling with your connection with each other.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I'd say I think I know exactly where the professor stands.
Exactly.
I know where he sits, and I know where he sleeps.
Exactly. It's that peripheral manservant capacity. You always know where I am, so you know where you should stand. I appreciate that about you, Radd.
That's a very fair point. My whole role, both in my sandwich making and my recently added skills of providing sexual services to my fans of sandwiches. It's really my role to let them look at me and, they see themselves in me. So I really, think to myself that they could take me apart if they wanted to, and some have, don't get me wrong, but they mostly put me back together. But yeah, I think that sounds like a friendship to me, at least from, my experience of having a lot of friends who, they pay me for very specific things, which is helpful.
I mean, friends, like you were saying a minute ago, Professor, and I have to take, a little... I have to take a contrary view. You were saying you couldn't be friends if someone paid you, but I mean, friends are supposed to help you. Friends are supposed to be there for you. And if a friend isn't giving you money, how much can they really be there for you?
I ask myself that every day.
Exactly.
There's so many people that try to come in and get a free sandwich with a little leaven on the side, and I just have to say no, because, what's in it for me? I can't eat sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the menu, right? There's one menu for one thing, and there's one menu for the other thing.
Exactly.
And then you don't put both of them on the same menu. They're separate.
Exactly. Friendship is about knowing your role, and it's about understanding your limitations.
Well, I feel like anytime I speak with a friend of the show, a listener, that whether I've helped them or they've helped me, what's the difference? What's the difference, really? Because it's all just helping going one way or the other.
It's putting goodness out into the world.
Or bringing it back here.
Exactly.
That is really, really true. So if you agree that I have been helpful, I can just add that to your monthly bill.
Please do, yeah.
Yeah, but, I have some stuff drying on me, and if I let it wait any longer, it's going to take a while to scrape off, so I should probably go.
Yeah, sure. Sorry for interrupting. Didn't realize you were at work.
She is always delightful to speak with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Going now to a commercial. That old clock on the wall says it's time to play one. And WSPN has one loaded and ready for you, so here you go.
Day isn't as bad now that the sun's back. Just wish we knew where it went to. Strange how Rossi and Mamp are holding up. I guess it makes sense. They don't have to worry about the little ones. The rest of us have all taken a lot of losses just trying to push through. Frankly, I wish I had their luck. And wish we knew why those two nut boils get off so easy. We could hold out here forever if it weren't for the little ones. Damn runts shoot right past Rossi and Mamp like they're scenery. And it's the little ones that get you.
500 credits have been deducted from your account. Thank you, and please keep broadcasting.
Have you ever wondered what goes into a commercial? What makes them go, and what do the creators expect to get in return for these seemingly masterpieces of short film cinematography? Would it surprise you to know that the filmmakers that birth these art babies often only have one goal in mind? Your wallet, your money, and your time. Hi, I'm Drandley Tonage, and I have the knowledge you need to navigate the dangerous world of commercial advertisements. I'll evaluate your top 10 commercials each week on my show, Drandley Tonage's Commercial Comments. Which ones can you trust? And which ones are trying to violently mug you and your checkbook? Listen this week, and I may just save your life. Only on WSPN, only at 17 o'clock. Remember, much like all commercials, they are either harmless entertainment or deadly lies.
It's okay. You can quit any time on WSPN. The Spoon.
Good counterpoint. Yeah. Why isn't the commercial, my friend? It's satisfying. It was satisfying. It was an extremely satisfying commercial. That commercial was amazing. I loved that commercial. That's one of my favorite commercials of all time. I'm so excited about it. And it's reciprocal because, we play it, we share it with people, and then it gives us money. How is that not friendship?
Because it's an advertisement. You can't be friends with an advertisement. You can only be friends with the product and or service and or program it is advertising.
Someone made that commercial just like someone made that sandwich. Yes, anyone could have made that sandwich.
Yeah, that commercial.
Anyone could have made that sandwich. That's not a special sandwich.
That is a special sandwich.
That sandwich is like any other sandwich.
His name is Monty, and he's my friend.
Just because you named it doesn't make it different.
I named him, but he brings his own uniqueness. Just like my friend.
Professor, they literally come off a production line.
Yeah.
They are stamped by machine.
Yeah.
They don't say Monty on it.
It's an edible friend maker machine. How else would you describe a sandwich maker?
As a sandwich maker, it is an industrial strength, heavy duty, military grade, pre-war sandwich maker. That thing has survived bombs and wars, and I don't know why you think it makes friends.
That just qualifies the sandwich maker itself as a friend. It's been through a lot. We've been through a lot with it. We've grown together through shared experience and shared trial.
All right, speaking of the spectrum of friends, let's go ahead and we're going to reach out to somebody who's high on both of our lists, Mailman, and just sort of check in. Mailman. See how Mailman's doing. See how he's been. We haven't seen him. He was supposed to be in the area here soon, but I haven't heard back from him, so I don't know if he's still, if he got held up somewhere or what, but I think Caden's calling out now.
Carthy's Munition and Militia Services, how may I help you?
Yeah, this is Radd. Is the mailman there?
No, he went out for a little what?
Okay, because he was supposed to be around here.
He's in the area, but he's taking one of his short routes. His short routes are just up at the block.
Oh, yes, his short routes. I know about them well.
Yeah, me too. I know about them, too.
He's told me about them at length.
I know about exactly where they are. I know all about them.
He normally, he'll come back from a short route if he knows that I'm going to call him, but I guess because, Radd, you put in the request, he wasn't really aware of that, and it wasn't as high a priority for him as it would have been had he known I was calling.
I meant to tell you, Professor, a woman called for you earlier. I didn't get the name. It was right before the show. I had to go on air. Anyway, a mailman was called.
A woman or a woman-shaped
No, I didn't get a name.
Automaton.
I didn't get a name.
I was just wondering. It's nice to hear from you guys again. Thanks for calling me. I'm still a fan. You guys are wonderful. But
it's great to hear from a friend of the show. It's great to hear from a friend of mine.
What you guys need from mailman? Maybe I can help you out with it.
We were just gonna check in with him. We're sort of.
I got a few things going on.
We're making the rounds. We're making the rounds for some older callers, some older friends of the show.
Right.
Some of my older friends, friends that I've had for years and years.
Right.
Sort of just because so much of what we do is about advice. We were just checking back in and seeing where you were now.
Radd is feeling lonely, maybe thinking that he doesn't have very many friends. So we're calling some people and asking them, hey, will you be Radd's friend?
Oh, yeah. I thought, we can be friends.
I assumed we were friends. That maybe have something to do with the professor's call. He thinks we're reaching out to make friends, but really this is more about sort of seeing where you are. So I think our listeners out there would love to hear it.
I'm at Carthy's Munition and Militia Services.
Yeah.
It upgraded from a school, and now it's a full higher militia.
Great.
Musicians.
Wow. So you've got a whole military academy going on now. And you're graduating them out, work placement, and that sort of thing now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Carthy really is really great at bringing people together. He's got a charisma, a zing to him.
Now, is he still sort of stepping the boot on your neck, or is that something that's...
Oh, no, I just know my place. That's all. That's all.
There it is again.
He had to teach me my place a few times with the stick into the head, but that good son of mine.
Sure, yeah.
A stick in the head. Can you elaborate on that?
The student has surpassed the master, I suppose, in some ways.
That sounds like a great technique that might be utilized by our listeners. You said that was a stick to the head?
Yeah, absolutely. It's from the old proverb, spare the rod, get hit by a spoiled child.
Yeah.
I just learned I'm best on phones. I thought maybe I could head up some of the peoples or something. But no, phones is for me.
Okay, well that's great.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay,
it's good that you found your hobby.
Yeah,
which is the subject of our show today.
And again, you're embodying, advice that came to light a little earlier in this episode. In all relationships, know your role, recognize your limitations, and conduct yourself accordingly.
And it's important also to note there that you once thought you were the teacher. You once thought you were the one providing the information, and
Boy, was I wrong there.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it's only inevitable that the one who thinks their teacher is surpassed by the one they think is their student.
Oh yeah,
it's
when
just
he
the way
surpassed
of
me,
nature.
he was like, "Oh, I am with 3 eyes. You make fun of me. Now you have 1, bastard. 1."
Exactly.
That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
That was horribly painful.
Yeah, kids are precocious that way.
Yeah. It's just it was a hot poker, and you can really smell the eye.
I bet he had about 4 or 5 guys held you down too, didn't he?
Yeah. I was just screaming.
You just kicked and
good.
screaming. But you couldn't move.
Yeah. No. Half the time though, you just laugh at your mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the sort of guy I am.
But even in that gesture of hostility, it's not without compassion. It was a hot poker. So as he removed sight from one of your eyes, he cauterized the surrounding tissue, allowing you to continue free of infection.
Oh yeah. And did I mention the smell? Oh.
Yeah. That, believe me, burning eyes. Oh, don't even start.
Oh yeah. Sometimes in my dreams I just smell it over and over again.
Yeah, that sounds delightful. Caden, can you bring me my charcoal, please? I need it for after the show. Thanks, buddy. Okay. So, other than that, things good?
Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to be working, and the phone lights keep blinking. I guess I should probably pick up one of these. Did I help you guys out with whatever you needed?
You know what? You helped because you were a friend. And that's
exactly.
That's as much as we can ask from anybody.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad we're friends. I still love the show. I'm glad.
But thank you very much for being a friend. And we'll let you get back to your job. Sorry for interrupting again. You have a good one.
Thank you.
It's always good to hear from a friend. You know, a friend will not say never, because the welcome will not end.
So there's so much love outside the bunker today. We're really feeling it from our callers.
Yeah.
Especially outside the bunker.
Yeah, I want to actually talk.
Say.
Can we just revisit that phone message that you're talking about? Speaking of love from outside the bunker.
Not sure what you're talking about. Phones aren't really my hobby. They're sort of what I do for work.
Yeah, so in regard to your job as answerer of the phones, this woman...
Well, I mean, that's more Caden's job.
This woman who called me, did she leave a name?
No, like I said, I was just checking the phones and, the mics and whatnot, making sure we were ready to record. And everything was in its place, and all my stuff was here, and that nobody had touched it.
Okay, yeah.
All the gum wrappers were where I left them.
And the message said...
Well, it was like, hey, is the professor there? And I was like, no.
Oh,
he's not here.
It wasn't a message. That was actually an actual call.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was...
You know how, like, ladies have... They got, like, voices that are, like, higher pitched, and then they're like, kind of like that. I can't really do it. It's hard.
Okay.
It was like that.
Okay. And she didn't leave a name. She didn't leave a callback number.
Regards to... I mean, again, this is for memory. This is right before the show. I was hurrying to get ready for the show. So, I mean, this is a favor to you more than anything else.
Yeah, that's
just to let
so
you know
much.
somebody called. I'm trying to do my best here. Otherwise, if that call had continued, it would have interrupted the show. And my intro would have been interrupted, and the show would have been ruined.
Right, but it's not a bad thing to cut the ancillary, less than important elements of the show, where my personal romantic fulfillment is involved. And I have to say, if it turns out that Athena was returning my call and you didn't get me, Radd, it's not. I can't tell you how to do your job, except that it's my job to tell you how to do your job. And if you don't get me when somebody calls for me, then you're not doing your job.
That's not my job. I mean, I don't have to answer the phones. I'm hosting the show.
If you can't fulfill your role outside the context of the show, how can I be sure that you can fulfill your role in the context of the show? I may just have to cut back your mic time.
Okay, yeah, let's try that, Professor. Hey, ladies and gentlemen out there, this is Radd Flink signing off. Hope the professor has the next show in the bag for you.
Well, I think we've done a lot of good for the callers and listeners today. Radd Flink, my ancillary sidekick, is taking a little bit of time off from the show. It might be an extended sabbatical I put him on, and that's fine. So to all of our listeners out there, thank you once again for giving me your attention. And you are welcome for receiving my wisdom. You are my friends, but please do not visit me.